What's up, guys? I got a bonus tip for you just because I believe in cramming so much value in this that you can get actionable strategies to take away. But this bonus tip could be worth more than anything in your business because it's a more overarching principle, sort of like an umbrella that many things fall under and categorize from. Hey, what's up, Motive in Motion family? Evan from Motive in Motion. I wanted to come at you with a new video about the tips for newbie beginners or new people to e-commerce. So people who are just getting in the game, who are fresh into the game, researching everything, hopefully absorbing all the positive sources and all the business sources that they can to get the ideas that they need. Specifically for the hungry people who are ambitious about it, they take the correct approach about researching everything, becoming a sponge for e-commerce, listening to the main guys like Jeff Walker, Frank Kern, Ezra Firestone, and anybody else you can find who is specifically, especially in your niche or in your business model that you can learn from, the people from ASM. If you can find the content from Jason Katzenbach over at ASM, Amazing Selling Machine. If you're doing Amazon FBA, whatever that is, you're going to be listening to the people who are already doing what you want to do. If you want to look at the very top, like Jeff Bezos of Amazon, you're dissecting these people's business models by reading their books, reading their autobiographies or their regular biographies, reading things like Sam Walton's Made in America. I do a book review on that as well. You can check that out on this channel. But you're understanding these concepts and you're really just taking the base, core, fundamentals and applying them in your business and learning as much as you can. So just a quick background if you want to hear me about what I've been doing on e-commerce for the last couple years. Started in drop shipping. I took a course called the Anton Method, which is the drop ship lifestyle. And I came out into a retreat. I actually dropped out of school. You can check that video right here about how to create my lifestyle. I wanted to learn all this. I wanted to learn from the business people who were doing what I wanted to do, aka traveling around, living wherever they wanted. And it's not more about the business model, it's just about the freedom and about the lifestyle that something like e-commerce can bring you. And then I dropped out of school, came over here and met hundreds of entrepreneurs for the retreat, built a nice network of hundreds of entrepreneurs in Thailand, and then obviously moved to Vietnam and different places like Japan and China, all around Asia. And then that whole network spreads into South America, Europe, they're all over the place because they're from all these countries. Like the Netherlands, France, Germany, America, Canada, Australia, just like covering the globe. And that's where I got my start. That was about, actually I guess 2 or 3 years ago now. I've gone through drop shipping business models, I've gone through the FBA business models, I've done Amazon consulting, I've done copywriting for those product descriptions, I've done consulting and copywriting for product descriptions on drop shipping websites, on other e-commerce sites that are doing their own in-house fulfillment. Obviously generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue and tens of thousands of dollars in profit for myself and for my clients. And I feel that I want to give you the basics for fundamentals of this stuff. I feel that if you're equipped with the 80-20 or the fundamentals of this process, you can understand how to get exactly what you want. For more on learning the 80-20 principle in tandem with this stuff, check this video right here. You're going to learn exactly how to hack the 80-20, how to 80-20 the 80-20, which is taking it another step than 99% of people do. Almost everybody knows about the 80-20 and the Pareto's Law at this point, but people aren't doing this approach, so they're going to understand right here how to make that much better. So these are my 3 top tips for e-commerce beginners and newbies and people who are just getting in the game, who want to build a business that can sustain them, who can really prove that their lifestyle can be free and travel and they can do whatever and make their own money. It's awesome potential. These are the 3 top most powerful tips. Of course, there's tons of others, tens and maybe hundreds of others. But for now, we're gonna get into those 3 tips and I want you guys to pay attention and let me know, like, share, comment on this video. Show me what you liked best about the comments that I had to say about e-commerce. Which one is your favorite tip? Which one you need to know more of? Always hit me up at motiveinmotion.com, no problem. And I wanna get into these tips, so let's go. But let's get down to it. So number 1, the step is really starting to get the layout of your e-commerce store. Let's say you're doing a store, that's great. Let's say you're doing Amazon, that's great as well. I'm gonna focus on a business that is an e-commerce store, an actual platform, because many people think they have Amazon businesses, but that's FBA and that's really a marketing channel for your real business. So hopefully you've taken it off the platform and been able to create what you want off of that platform on maybe Shopify, Magento, or even BigCommerce, or a custom coded website that you buy from a developer, or develop yourself if you're that skilled. So basically what you do is you create your own website. You're going to need to focus on the layout. A layout is very important for your conversion funnel. You need to know what actually gets sales and what's actually getting customers, because most people will focus on the graphics or something like the type or the text or the logo, but they're not understanding this base picture of having your homepage look very nice with proven elements, with complete strategy that makes a customer want to add the cart and want to check your products and want to actually buy from you. I have dialed down now from my years of experience into a almost perfect complex of the base layout for a homepage, the base layout for your product pages, the highly converting templates that I have. Basically, if you want to know more, just hit me up on that. You can send me a message at my site, but those are completely custom to what your site is, but they follow a very straight guideline. So for instance, you're going to want to have your logo in the top left corner most of the time. You're going to want to make it kind of small. You're going to want to have a nice header. You're going to remember colors and optimizations. We'll get to that. So the number one point is keeping a nice template that is a high converting template for your funnels and for your e-commerce store. And what I've done for many clients is often just gone in with them on their already profitable businesses and then optimized the heck out of it, redesigned the entire website, rewritten copy, consulted with them, and made them so much more money, like double, triple, or quadruple their profits and revenue. And then what we do is we split the profit. So that's a good 50-50 bargain for me and some clients, because it makes them more money, it makes me more money, and it gives me another positive experience that I can show future clients for my references. So number two, and this is often glossed over if you look at 90% of websites online, especially e-commerce, pay attention to typography and colors. If you're not a professional designer, that's completely fine, but do yourself a favor and don't pretend that you are one. If you can afford it, outsource it. If you know someone who is a good designer and you have a skill, see if you can trade a skill for theirs. But this step alone is a highly overlooked step for most e-commerce business owners. They hardly ever focus on the type setting, which is how your type actually comes about. Typography, aka your actual text and font, and the organization of the features and all of the graphics on, for instance, your home page or on your product pages and your product descriptions, maybe some inlane photography, maybe some borders and branding around your actual images that each image has to make it look nice and consistent. This is very important and it goes a long way. So if you're kind of one of those paint designers or someone who uses like, Pixlr or whatever, which isn't bad, you can do that as a beginner, but you're really going to want to understand to move past that. You're going to understand the level that most of these e-commerce players are playing on, and that's a different field for most people. So try to get that outsourced, or if you're a designer, all the better. Great, do that, or at least learn about 3 to 6 months of jumping in design and really just absorb all the things you can. Practice it for yourself, practice it for your friends and whatnot, and get really good with the knowledge of working Photoshop, working Adobe Illustrator, sometimes Dreamweaver. And if you're putting any video presentations together, use Final Cut Pro or something that's really nice to make sure that your video looks really nice and polished. But for the beginners, start with a nice typography, nice typesetting, good font. Keep the font consistent. This is something that I never knew. I had a bunch of mentors ahead of me that looked at my site and were like, this is horrible, my first site ever, right? You got to destroy it to build it back up again. So they bought me a homepage image, they bought me the text and branding, they told me to use 1 or 2 fonts tops, 1 or 2, maybe 3 colors at tops. You're going to want to keep it in a very small color scheme that is kind of analogous, that all goes together. Maybe you take like a light mustard and like a gray and a black or something, and the light mustard is used sparingly and the gray or black are everywhere where your site is bordered and all that. You just want to keep it simple and keep it nice and fresh, because the less is more for design. Another one of my good friends, who's one of the most boss graphic designers that I've ever met, is always saying less is more, and that's true for 2017 because you don't want to make it look all retro. Third tip I got for you guys: the beginners in e-commerce need to understand that your product page must be optimized. So do your best, your absolute best, to optimize your product page, which really means set it up for sales. Set it up for the highest possible sale conversion rate that you can get. The average for the industry is about 1%. If you're getting 2, you're a boss. If you're getting 3, you're a god. So that's our e-commerce store. And of course you take Amazon FBA, you can get amazing conversion rates that are unheard of, such as 10, 15, even 20% or above. So that's crazy. But we're talking about the e-commerce store. It's a traditional product page. You know, you're gonna want to have the product page images on the left. You either do a 50% split between the middle or do 2/3 and 1/3. So I've seen a lot work either way, but you're gonna really need to test. It comes down to testing. So when I say get your optimization right, make sure your add to cart button is above the fold, make sure you got a nice border, make sure your logo is the right size, make sure you got your phone number or contact information in the header, make sure the header doesn't come down past your screen. You know, there's something called the fold, which I just said. The fold is where no one has to scroll to see your entire page. So once they start scrolling, you pass the fold. The bottom of that is the fold. So you want to have the add to cart button above the fold. You want to have your header and your logo, everything in navigation, very clean, very minimalist, very nice. You want to make it so easy for people to click add to cart. When they click, here's a bonus tip, when they click add to cart, you want the part to be something like a modal, M-O-D-A-L, which is where it pops up right after you added a cart. Because there can be no mistake that you just added to something to cart, and because you want to bring as many people from add to cart to reach checkout to actual pay you with money. Because this is the funnel, this is the conversion funnel. Many people drive traffic right to the page, many people drive the home page, many people retarget with Facebook pixels for the blog posts that they put out and content. You can do whatever you like. I prefer to have them at the product page with the right ad for the right exact person. When they hit it, they're understanding that this is exactly for them, and then they take action. Cool guys, so that was my 3 main tips for e-commerce beginners. If you want to learn more about how I got started, you can check this video right here. I failed 2 dropshipping stores right after I sold my first one ever for $10,000. I moved into FBA, I moved into consulting, client work, copywriting, and abundance of things that I'm doing now. So I want to show you the whole journey because it's not easy, it's not simple, but it's really not crazy hard either. So if you put the right grind in, you can understand the fundamentals. In other words, move forward with the basics and do that on a daily basis and get your 80-20 done. Evan from Motive Emotion signing off.